Welcome back into another episode of Preacher in the Hat. We have Pastor Ralph Garth with us again for part 2. If you have not seen his first episode of Stories of Transformation, please go watch that right now. We ended that on a great note, and we're fixing to dive into it.
We don't often require that you watch or listen to previous episodes.
We never require.
Yeah, but this one, we require. You need to go back and listen to the first
episode. Chapter 2 won't make near as much sense if you haven't seen chapter 1.
Yeah, right.
It'll be fun because we'll be talking about the kind of the upswing of things, but you won't really get the full perspective without that.
Yeah.
That's right.
In the last episode, when he was talking, when Pastor Robert, I've had the privilege of hearing him tell the rest of this story, and include some of that. But when in the last episode, Ralph, you talked a little bit. We talked just a brief thing of this one guy that you used to carry around and tell you he started trying to talk to you about Jesus.
Yes.
Tell me what your reaction was when he first started trying to do that.
I cussed him out. I cussed him out. I said, man, don't tell me that about no Jesus. I'm trying to find me something to get high with. That's he ran across the street where I was trying to get into this car. And and it was funny, and I looked up at him. And he looked weird, his eyes was clear, and he didn't look like the person that I used to run with. And he told me, he said, man, I want you to go to the revival with me and things. I said, man, look, leave me alone with that Jesus stuff. I don't want to hear it, And I kept on pushing him off and going down there. But I really, really cursed him out bad that day, about Jesus. But see, this, like the last episode said, I was at the lower point. This is one part have to be there because of what he said to me. It registered where when that time came, I called him up and I asked him what to do. What happened was I was in a crack house then. See, I had transfer.
Hold on, Ralph. We were supposed to be talking about the good stuff.
Yeah, okay. But this little bit here.
I'm just messing with you.
This little bit right here going to get us.
Jesus started messing with you.
Yeah, he started messing with me. See, because that once he said that, told me about Jesus and stuff, and I cussed him out, where I was in a house smoking crack. And I had stopped this was a year late, and I had stopped using the needle because it was costing too much now. So the crack was cheaper. And I was in this house and I was smoking. And I fell out. No, my heart started beating real hard. So I went in there and got in the tub of cold water to try to stop my heart from beating. And when I got out, was coming back in there to smoke some more, I fell out in a trance. And that's when I was in a grave. I was up over the grave and I was looking down in there and it was me. I heard myself say, that's me in the grave. And I was trying to get out of there, and the grave was dug really neat. And I was trying to get out of there. And every time I went to each corner of the grave, tried to get out, dirt would fall down and I couldn't get out. I woke up and I ran out the house and I called my mother and I asked her, could I come home? My mother said, yes. Come home, you can come home. And I walked there and I had nothing but my shoes on. I didn't have no shoes on. I had no shirt on. I walked from Smithfield to West End like that. And I got there and I called up for help. And I went into the treatment. And when I was in the treatment, they at the VA hospital. Yeah, VA hospital. They had this group of people. They asked you all these questions, and so they told him, said, well, he got to be checked for HIV. Mm-hmm. So when they all left out of there, I said, Lord, please don't let me have no HIV, So he left out of there, and I said these words here: I never wanted to see another human being go through what I did. And that was the moment of transformation right there. Mm-hmm. God said, I got him now. Mm-hmm. And I went on through the program, and I stayed there 30 days. and I didn't understand nothing about no fasting or whatever. God called me a fast. I wouldn't even much go eat. When anything like that, I just always would go to this little bitty church. And the only prayer I know, please don't let me go back the way I was. I said that for 30 days. And the time had came where I had, they said we had to go and write a resume, learn how to write a resume, because down there, man, it's just like, it's a campus, and it's everything that you need is there. Bowling alley, movie theater, everything was there for you. I went into the library looking for a book for resume. And the lady told me, she said, go down this aisle and the book's down there. And when I got down there, where the resume was, it was another book up on top of the book, of the resume book. And when I pulled it down, it said The Cross and the Switchblade, Nicky Cruz. And I got the book and I opened it up and I seen where drugs, you know, Nicky Cruz was on drugs and he was in gangs and he was stealing and all this stuff. I said, wow. So I took the book to my room and I read that book every day. I said, and when I got to the back of it, Nicky Cruz and Dave Wilkinson, they started up Teen Challenge. And I said, this is what I want to do. I want to go back and help some people. And that's when the moment the vision came, coming out, doing that. But when I came out, though, I went back home to my mother, reconciled with her. We ate ice cream and watched Sanford and Son.
That's important factors.
Yeah, well, I'm living. I'm living now.
That's just a picture of reconciliation.
Yeah. Without the drugs.
Yeah, without the drugs, you know, and reconciliation. She was saying that she hate that, you know, what she had done to me and things and stuff. And we bonded real good, you know. And so I got landed a good job. And started going to work and saving my money and things like, cause I didn't know what to do with money. You know, when you've been on drugs that long and all your life you just been buying drugs.
So you probably felt a little rich when you didn't have drugs to spend.
Oh,
money
I felt
on.
big time.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know,
what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, well, you know, I had money. My mother used to come in. She'd be and wash my clothes, and she would open up the drawer. Boy, what you doing with all this money in here? I don't know what to do with it, you know. But that went on, man, and I went on, and this vision was burning on the inside of me.
Now, did you get in touch, if I could interrupt you, did you get back in touch with Tony after you got out?
Well, while I was there, I was always staying in touch with him. I was staying in touch with him because he was actually coaching me, you know, telling me what to do and things like that.
Right.
And so when I got out, he came and then now Tony had really, really came up in the Lord. And he took me to his house. And I said, man, I know good and well that you couldn't did. You didn't buy this house here, you know. That's because you didn't have money to buy an apple for Christmas. How in the world you going? And I went in there and I said, man, I want this God that you got, you know. And we started going on, and I started going to church, and just cleaning up bathrooms. That's whatever it was. I cleaned a bathroom for a long time, and because I was enjoying myself, and I saw God just blessing me.
Well, tell us one of the first jobs you had in church, when the pastor told you that your job was something to do with cars. Tell us about that.
Oh yeah, so when I got in the, you know, he gave me a job. He told me, I want you to park cars for me.
Whoops.
I said, huh? And I'm saying, man, but you know, as you look at it now, God has a sense of humor.
Yes.
I used to steal cars, and they telling me to go park some cars.
This is the after Jesus part.
Yeah, right.
You're parking them now.
Yeah, I'm parking cars. Now I'm doing the right thing, you know. But, you know, you get in there and you laugh to yourself because you say, man, if it had been, I'd have took this car and went on by my business.
Like, oh, that's a nice radio.
Yeah. You know? So, but it was all fun, man. And like I said, I know God be laughing sometime at us, man.
Well, and the pastor trusting you that way.
He trusted
just
me.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he trusted me that way. And he knew my addiction.
Story.
Yeah, he knew it. But he told me, he said, I want you to go out there and park the car. Just as, you know, And I went out there, and folks were coming up, and I park them, and come on back in the church after they nobody don't come, and sit up in there and leave and go, So I did that for a while.
Yeah.
But it was
you
all.
went to the hospital in '93, wasn't it, Ralph? Was that?
I went to the VA hospital in '93.
And
yes.
you started your ministry in '97.
'97,
But you were in churches doing ministry with other people. And
yes. Well, what happened was the pastor told me with my testimony I should go out in the street and and tell people. Well, I didn't know what to do, so I went to the library, and I was a library again. And so now, see, I'm in my right mind now. I got some wisdom. So I went there and I found books on Billy Graham and all of these evangelists, and I started reading about it. And I got me. I asked him, could I get some people out of the church? And I had an awesome team. And we started going out in the projects. We started going everywhere on Saturdays. And we filled the church up with their gang members. I would go and talk to the Crips over there in Cooper Green and places like that. And they will open up a way for me and come and stand behind me while I'm preaching. They'll say, ain't nobody gonna bother you. They're standing behind me and things. We have made friends with them, So it was a mighty force that was happening.
Now, when was it that you met this special lady who's still with you after all these years?
So the thing is, she heard about us, me going out into the streets and doing it, and she wanted to do it too. And she knew two of the guys who was on my team, and because I had ladies and guys on the team, and she knew about it. So she called one of them up and asked him, so all of those guys was married. So, and I had a card in, and so didn't nobody want to pick her up, so they sent me to go pick her up. And so I would pick her up, for to come out on a Saturday. And we just looking at each other, I'm looking at her and we talking and stuff, and I'm, we asking questions and things like that. But at first, it really wasn't anything to it, because it seemed like I wasn't her type and she wasn't my type.
Because she didn't have the same background.
No, she didn't. She was college, all the way. So
and also worked for
the city of Birmingham. Working for the city of Birmingham up there in personnel. So what? What's he gonna do with me?
And they didn't want to see you walking in that building.
You got some personnel.
Right. So we went on and on, man, and we got to be, cause like I said, we had married peoples on the team, and so me and her just talked, and we just got to talking, and this guy, we came in when we all used to go to this chicken place. Popeye's Chicken, cause Pastor Charlie, we met him from California. He owned it. So he came on my team too. So we went there and ate free chicken, and we would talk about what we had done that day, what we did. And so one guy stopped and he started looking crazy, and he was talking, but he stopped talking and he started looking around, and he looked at me and Kathleen and he said, God want me to anoint y'all for marriage. I said, what? We ain't even coding yet, And so what we did was, so this guy, he was always on target though, So we just said, okay, we just started talking and getting to know one another and praying. We was praying, if this God, if this you, then, And so one night we went to a revival at a church. And the lady she was from New York, but she knew me, and she called me and Kathleen, and she said, come here, Ralph, and bring that lady with you. And cause me and Kathleen said, okay, if we gonna do this here, and this about 6 months now in the talking, let's set a date for February 14th. Just me and her talking now. We goes down there to the altar, and the lady said, why not February the 14th? Kathleen fell out on the floor. I looked at her, I said, huh? And we knew then it was Jesus.
How about that?
And so we started, really talking and going together. But I tell you, it was supernatural stuff all the way. I don't call myself better than any Christian or better than anybody, but it was something. I guess it was just I waited out there so long till he just said, "I'm gonna catch you up," you know. I'm gonna catch you up. But even our wedding, the girl who I used to cut her grass, I never did steal from her. But when I was in addiction, she was a principal at a school. I would cut her grass for nothing, you know, because she stayed next to my mother. She had a bridal shop. And when she found out I was going to get married, everything that we needed, she provided there. Kathleen had on a dress. The train was so long, it was still at the door when she was down at the altar, you know. It was one. And guess what? Every police in the city of Birmingham that she knew was at the wedding. And I had been in trouble with the police.
I was saying, that didn't make you sweat a little bit.
Man, I mean, all these police is there, and here I am, used to be one of the enemies of the police, you know, running from them, doing stuff, and they there at my wedding.
Wow.
And so the story went on, and so with the house, like I say, God was just supernaturally giving some, I had this vision, and I had really just said, okay, I'm married, I got married, and now I'm fit to live a life, you know, with just me and my wife and my children. And I went on to, and one day I was at my mother's house, and the vision came back just like this. It was a house next door to my mother. And this guy who owned it, I just asked him a question. I said, what you gonna do with the house? He said, I'm remodeling it, and I'm gonna sell it. So I said, well, what you gonna sell it for? He said, $50,000. Well, me with my smart self, there ain't a house over here in West End called $50,000. But I went on, and no, I said, that's my house, man. That's gonna be my house. And I went on, and every day I would come visit my mother, I would see that house. And I said, man, that house right there will hold. It was a big old house. And so what happened was, every time he put something in there new, the crack folk would come in, you know, and smoke in there, and they would steal cabinets and whatever they steal out of there. Yeah. And he just got tired, and he called me on the phone. He said, man, look, you can have that house. Come on, get it. And I went up there, and I was at the Salvation Army, too, preaching up there. And I got those guys out of there, I think of 15 guys. I brought them into the house, and I was preaching with them. I took them to church, and, man, it was on there. Got them baptized. And some of them, well, Thomas, he was one of them. He's dead now. Yes, and there's a whole bunch of preachers out there that came up under this here. So it was.
That was your first house.
That was my first house.
So and then ever since then, God keeps giving you stuff.
Well, this what happened. Well, so we doing ministry now in that house. So now the neighborhood is mad. So they came against us, and I had to go down to the courthouse and talk with them about it. So they voted, said no, and then we had to go back again. And one guy everybody had voted yes the last time, and one guy, a black guy, said no. So they said, what we're gonna do is we're gonna just let the neighborhood decide. So they said, okay, we're gonna have a meeting. The president of the neighborhood said, we're gonna have a meeting on Monday night, and we'll come together and we'll vote on it with the neighborhood. We'll invite them. So, see, now I got wisdom now. So I went to the church and I told everybody that stayed in West End to meet me at this center on Monday night. Well, Monday night came, it thundered, lightning. I mean, lightning was popping. The church folk were there, and his people weren't there. And when he voted, we won the vote, and we got to stay there, you know. So all of that there, and then God moved us, even though they moved us to Avondale. Yeah. And that's when I got closer to it, and people started asking me about the ministry, and I was telling them about it. And these people at Tracy and them place over there, they called and asked me, did I want a church? And at first I told them, no, I said, I'm not a pastor. And so I went, they told me to go look at it. It was a little white church, and that's what I came out of, a little white church. And I stood up on that porch, and I looked down there, and you could see Avondale Project, and I started crying. And I rolled down there, and I saw little girls with babies in their arms, and they was young themselves. And I come back and I told them, I said, yeah. I said, I'll take it. And I cleaned it up, got it cleaned up, and then didn't have no help to get it all messed. And that's when I met Steve down there when they had the cafeteria, the restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
And I went to go, they told me, said, you need to meet Steve, you know. And I went down and met him and told him, and then he got some help from Pennsylvania, and they fixed it up, and we started church. Right there. So I was bringing in prostitutes, drug addicts, drunks, whatever you want to come there, come on in here.
You know, people who are listening or watching may be thinking, wow, that, you know, the Lord gave him 2 buildings.
Yes.
And allow me to be the one to break the news to say that is nowhere near the last building that you
That's correct.
That we
basically received.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have
More
a
or
campus.
less.
We have a
Excellent
campus
there.
now.
Excellent.
We have a campus now, and not only that, then we got another building they gave for a thrift store. So all of that there, it was grace of God.
So
a
if
matter
you're
of
looking
fact-
for free real estate, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
When you say that, the pastors of Good News Fellowship and some of the other people that know Ralph, they say, I need to walk around with Ralph and rub up against him just a little bit because he's got that anointing on him for free
And
stuff.
free stuff, yeah.
So, you know, the pastors or other pastors are, but for some reason or other, it comes to Ralph, it doesn't always come to everybody else. So.
One of the pastors told me and said, well, would you give me an airplane, please?
You just briefly mentioned in passing about the thrift store, and that was a gift as well.
It was a
right?
gift, yeah.
Absolutely it was.
Oh, well, four lots on there. The thrift store, 2 buildings, and it was a house there, but we had the house tore down. It was so bad.
Yeah.
But it's 4 lots there. So we got 2 buildings and 2 lots there.
What's the thrift store doing these days?
It's just open now. And first we was kind of down a little bit, you know, because after we had a lady there, she passed on and things, and we had nobody to run it. We had to shut it down for a while. So now we're picking up a little bit, but we sell. You know, this is really a blessing that I always prayed for. Good furniture. And people in the neighborhood there, they are buying this furniture because they haven't had anything like this, you know. And so they fixing their houses up. And we have nice clothes come there, you know. So, but it's doing okay. It's picking back up now.
Well, and the people that work there are actually in your ministry.
Yeah,
so
they
it
are in the
provides
ministry.
jobs for people in this ministry as
so
well.
they are, running it and things. And then the men from the house, if they are not working, then they have to work there. So when we got the thrift store, here we go again. When we got the thrift store, so we need a truck. We got to have a truck to pick up furniture.
Yeah, gotta have.
So we went and told people about the truck, and we got a big old truck. Matter of fact, we got 2 big trucks. We got 1 truck for food to pick up, and then we got 1 for thrift store. But that is all, nothing had to do with me. It's all God. Because I said I'll go. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll do it. So with that in mind, then, if you saying that I'll do whatever, he got to provide. Whatever, you know, if whatever he wants you to do, he got to. So we got big trucks, you know. So we pick up food, and we have a food truck, and then we have the thrift store truck. And all of the houses. So right now, that's a lot of money. And we don't owe nobody anything. All the houses is paid for, and so that's it. And we trying right now, believing God and praying now that we shut down the women's house now, but we talking about opening back up because we realized that we needed those women because they was running the thrift store, you know, and things, and they was learning a trade too. They was learning something that they can go out and do.
Absolutely.
And so it benefits everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say this, because, you know, it was extremely humble of you to, and correct to give credit to God for all of the blessings
Yes.
He continue to give you. But there's also the parable in Matthew 25, where, the money is given to the man gives the money out, you know, and one man gets 5, one gets 2, one gets 1. And you were given some, and you could have buried it and kept it, but you put it to work. And so we joke and laugh about, you know, let's sit next to Ralph's, you know, so we can get free buildings. But it's not really about that. It's because of what you've been given. You've put it to work, and he can trust you.
Yes.
And not only does God see that, but other people see that. You know, one of the things about the campus you're on, if I remember that story too, was somebody had been on that campus and the people who owned the building said, well, they're just not doing ministry.
They're not doing ministry, yeah.
So, but they had heard of Ralph and how their church was thriving and ministering and, you know, and that kind of thing. And so that's really the reason you got that too, was other people said, you know, we think this is somebody that'll take care of it, and not only take care of it, take care of the people. So you're being there in that little area of Tarrant, right there, where it used to be Tarrant First Baptist Church.
Yes,
I believe it was. First Baptist Church.
No, talking about the one we in now? Inglenook. It used to be Inglenook Baptist Church.
Inglenook Baptist Church.
And this guy, he was preaching brimstone and fire, you know, around there.
He wasn't doing any ministry.
No, but what happened was we see, in order to have that building, you had to become a part of the Baptist Association, because they couldn't sell it outside to an outsider. Right. So what happened was I came, did that, but the amazing thing was they called me into a meeting, and the building was $300 and some thousand, the whole property. And so I went into the meeting, and they said, one guy said, well, we already have $20,000 on the table that somebody want to buy. And another guy said, well, I think he's doing the work. We don't know what this other guy going to do, and he got the money on the table, and it might come up the same way it's been. So they told me to step outside. And I stood out there, and I just went to praying, and they called me back in, and they said, Ralph, we salute you. And what we gonna do, we gonna sell the building to you for $30,000. I ain't had no 30. And a lawyer was over in the corner. He said, I pay it for him. Good. He paid the money. I signed the deeds, you know, and stuff, and walked out of there with the keys. It was awesome, man.
How many years ago was that?
That's been, about 15 years now.
Maybe
it's been that long.
It's been that long. And it may be because that's what we are doing now. See, everything on my computer crashed. And so Clyde had to make
That's
me.
your son.
Yeah, my son had to rebuild it. That's what he do now. He builds computers. So he had to redo me one. So I'm trying now to find out, you know, all the time period, because I got to meet some people in September and tell them how Brookwood and True Vine came together, you know. But it has been an amazing journey. And like I said, that I had nothing to do with any of this. God been doing it all, you know. And so he made a way for me now to be a retired veteran, you know, all these years. He blessed me with a lot of money and stuff, you know, because of that. Because, see, I don't get paid or anything like that. And I know there's no money there, you know. So, but I just do it because I love what I do, you know.
But the VA was able to recently, recently settle with you,
for some things that happened to me.
Sure,
some things that happened to me in the Army, and we fought for that. At first when I got out in '75, and then I went through those 3 years addicted. I didn't need it in the first place. And because I probably dead now anyway.
Right.
But then as I came on and I found out some things about what happened to me in VA, you know, in the hospital, I got all my records together and found out, you know, all of this that I had did. I mean, that was done to me, which I was kicked from behind. And when I fell down on the ground, it hit me, you know, when he kicked me, it hit my private parts too. And I fell on the ground, and the drill sergeant dragged me. So that was right there was abuse. And so we started doing that, and then they found out that I had PTSD You know, so all of that right there was me. So they settled with me. And not only settled with me, but, you know, pay me month to month. And so that thing, and you said, God said it wasn't because of what happened to me. It was just a reward for what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And so now,
that allows you to keep doing the ministry for, you know, without requiring, you know, any money from that.
And for all those years, actually, Ralph, I know this from you telling me before, was that Kathleen worked 36 years at least. 36 years. She went through 6 different mayors' administrations. Yeah. And she did that. And yet she always said, you just keep ministering. I'll bring the paycheck in.
Because, man, you don't know how hard it is that you supposed to be the man of the house and your wife is the one bringing the money in. But now God turned it around where I'm bringing the money in. So that's really what he done, though. But it's just been this grace journey has been wonderful, you know.
Now, when I get to the end of our of a story of transformation with folks in the past, I like to ask a question. I feel like I know what the answer is for you, but I'm going to go ahead and ask it anyway. So I like to ask people to tell us, where would Ralph Garth be today if it wasn't for Jesus?
Ralph Garth be dead. Yeah. Because I was doing some stuff. I was doing, coming out of what I told you all, that I was doing more heroin than you're supposed to be doing, because of I was so used to the potent stuff, the pure stuff. I was so used. So now my body done, you know, that's what it's taking. So now I had to try to do more to get that high. So Ralph will be dead like his other buddies. Yeah, I will be.
We're glad you're not.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not.
Ralph, also the way he has preserved your health.
Yes.
Given what you went through 25 years as a heroin addict, is just, I mean, you're a healthy man.
Yeah, and see, I don't take no kind of medicine or anything, but guys who come into the program, they got sacks of medicine, you know, and things, but I don't take anything, you know. I don't have no kind of problem with high blood pressure or anything like that. And that is amazing right there, you know, because the stuff that I did and stayed out on the streets all night long and slept in old bandit houses and all of that there, you know, it's amazing, you know, that I don't have anything like that, you know. Yeah.
Well, what is amazing to me too about that, Ralph, is that me and you both are right around 70.
Yes.
You know, like the Bible says, 70 years old. You're older than I am.
Yeah, I'm 73 years old.
And to watch you continue just to pour your whole self,
yeah,
into ministry and to other people, you haven't quit.
No.
You could sit back now.
Yes.
Right now, you could sit back now financially. Otherwise, you wouldn't have to do another thing.
Well, you know, I think I've been kind of rebellious in there. I asked the Lord the other night, I got through praying, and I said, Lord, what's the word for me today? He said, live. And what he's telling me is, let it go now and live. Get your wife and live now, you know. Right. I done blessed you. Live. Come out of this now, you know. And every time I called Jones up, I said, Jones, man, y'all just gonna take over. Yeah. I come in, I just oversee.
But you ain't gonna be able to do that.
I won't be able to do it. I mean, you know, even the board
to be involved somehow.
Yeah, but the board members, you remember they said, how you gonna find another Ralph?
Yeah,
it gonna take Ralph to do it. But what I'm trying to do is just let them know, okay, I'm gonna oversee. All I do, I'll just tell you something, you know, what to do at times, and you just follow that. But let me go. You know, let me go on and do what I want. I want to live just like he said, live, you know. I was thinking about the day I said, I'm going to leave here and go to Tennessee or somewhere else this weekend. And I ain't going to tell none of them, let them walk.
I think maybe you've earned the right to do that once in a while.
I would say this: he keeps threatening that, but I've heard him threaten it for the last 5 years.
Yeah, sure have.
So instead of doing less, he starts flying over to Tanzania.
Yeah.
East Africa, and that's another whole story for another whole time.
Story.
That's a ministry story in of itself.
I said, they asked me a long time ago at Brookwood that I wanted to go to Africa with them. And I boldly said, ignorant, I ain't got nothing in Africa I want. You know? And I didn't. I meant what I said. And Jonas came there.
From Wakajumba.
Yeah, Wakajumba. And he said, would you go home with me? And I went there, and what I saw, it just like the drug thing, I caught a vision. I said, okay, these people need some help. And I went there, and I started ministering there, and the people was receiving like they never heard anything about the kingdom of God. And then I started telling them, I said, okay, Lord, what can we do? Because no money there in Lindy, no plants. People are living off of what they got. They don't have nothing. I'm talking about they cook outside, they stoves outside. It was bad. So what happened was I said, how can I help them? And I began to give a thing. I said, what is the best thing that you can make money over here off? And what commodity, He said, chickens. I said, chickens? I said, okay, let's build a chicken house and get some chickens then. So they ain't had the money to do it. So I come back and I asked the church and I asked Good New Fellowship, and we got it and we built a chicken house. And so we got about 200 chickens. They making money. So that was for the pastor family because he didn't have anything. He couldn't even come to the United States because when we tried to get him here, they said that he didn't have any insurance. If something happened to him, he would have to have his own insurance. He didn't have anything. So we got that started. So I said, okay, the church need to make money. So what we'll do is let's buy some land, because it was cheap. I think we built a chicken house, a nice chicken house, for about $1,400. So now we done put $4,000 into a giant chicken house, gonna put 500 chickens in there. We got, it's building now. We started it on the land. The Muslims started coming down, helping the church, and now they in the church.
I want to know. I wish we could go back and tell Ralph Garth of the late 1980s and tell him. Just want to let you know, about 35, 40 years from now, you're going to be responsible for 500 chickens that are transported over to Tanzania.
Yeah.
So wonder what he would have thought about that.
Yeah, well, man.
He might have cussed us out.
We'll cuss you out. Yeah, we'll cuss you out. But now it's almost done with. I think about a couple of more thousand, we'll be done. And now the people, the people are being paid too. They're getting some money. And so he said, now people eat now, and they're happy. I got some pictures, on my phone that they all standing around and I don't know what they were saying, but they was at the last word of saying, hallelujah.
Good.
Yeah, right. But to see the joy on them and to see where this has came to now, because we built a little house too for one of the church members to live on there. We got some goats. So what they're going to do, they're going to sell goat milk and goat cheese. They're going to sell chickens and some eggs. And then they're going to plant some stuff out there. So now the people in the church will have a job. And they'll start working, and so money going to start coming in.
All right, Farmer Ralph.
Yes.
Well, but one of the biggest stories I hear about Africa for you is every Easter Sunday.
Yes,
For the last several years, you have been in Tanzania, and tell them, finally, maybe that'll be our final story here. Tell them what you do every Easter Sunday and where you do it.
On Easter Sunday, the most beautiful time in Africa that you can ever dream of. I will be in the Indian Ocean baptizing 15 and 20 Muslims who have come over to Jesus. Yeah. I mean, this every year. all of these people, and we baptized early Sunday morning, around 6 o'clock. The sun is up where you can look like you can just touch it, and you know Jesus done rose on that day. And man, it's just a beautiful thing. And you dumping them down in the water, and we get to church and have a party. And you know they dance all day long.
Yeah. That's awesome, Pastor Ralph. We are incredibly grateful for you to be here with us.
It's good to be here.
We may have to come. We may have to get you back here. We may not be done talking about Africa or whatever else the Lord will be doing by then.
Whatever building He has.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever's new. Right.
Well, it'll be good because it's a lot to Africa too now.
Yeah.
Testimony, Bill.
Well, want to make sure we give a quick shout out to your wife, Sister Kathleen. Thank you for sharing Ralph with us this evening.
Yes.
And of course, we would be remiss to not say hello to all the folks out at True Vine who we love spending time with.
Amen.
And appreciate again you being here with us. So, as we like to say for Derek and Steve, my name's Eric. This is our special guest, Pastor Ralph Garth. This has been another episode of Preacher in the Hat, and we'll see you next time.
Amen.
Man, amen.